Boom, and welcome to another video of the Flowing Dutchman. Now in this video I want to talk a little bit about what just happened. As I was swinging casually, well, I think my style is not that casual, but I was flowing around with the meals, listening to some beautiful songs, being in the flow, and then I remembered a little video that I saw posted by Billinge when he was visiting Azerbaijan, and he visited one of the meal champions, I believe, and just a simple video. He was just like playing around, flipping the meal around like it's absolutely nothing, and just that speed, that skill, and it just reminded me a lot of what I do with kettlebells, flipping them around, or maces, big maces, whatever. But I actually never tried it with a meal. I have tried it with club bells and mudgars, but they're kind of different. The meal only has a very small handle and a pommel at the end, and so it's usually wood, which is, you know, valuable, and you don't want to break it. So it's just never really gotten to me that I could actually flip these things, and that's very fascinating. So yeah, I brought these, which are of course way too heavy to start trying this, but hey, I didn't have anything else with me now, but I'm gonna do that of course later. But you know, the fun thing is about this is that yeah, it's similar to mudgars and how you flip them, but it still has a very different weight distribution. The way that a meal is made traditionally in Iran and other countries is just so different compared to a mudgar. Like the form makes, you know, the club and the way that it swings, and for somebody that doesn't use any of these tools, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But yeah, flipping these is actually really fun. That's what I found out, because of the weight distribution, you really have to give it a full flip, just like you have to do with a kettlebell. But then, you know, the catch is relatively easy because, you know, the diameter of the turnaround is just not so big. With this one, the diameter suddenly has increased by, yeah, at least double. So you have to flip it and then catch it all the way at the other end. So that means you actually have to put a lot of force into that meal to make it flippable, to make it actually flip. And that's what I realized straight away when I tried the first ones. And this is funny, guys, because I usually don't share too much, or I don't actually videotape as much of my creation process, as it usually happens indoors, and I'm just zoned out after in the evening, or, you know, and then suddenly something hits, and then I start working on it. But yeah, sometimes it also happens when I'm here outside, and I brought my camera with me as well. So that was quite fun. So yeah, this is really difficult to flip these things. That's what I noticed straight away. I noticed that there's a few variations similar to what you can do with a mace, with a, you know, with a mudgar in itself, and I kind of know all the different variations and flips. But to do it with this much weight and this handle is definitely, and this small catch here, that makes it really difficult. But I also tried to eventually do it with two at the same time, which is going to be my goal. So my goal is to start doing this with two at the same time. And I think it's possible. I've seen some stuff that it's possible, and that's going to be my journey towards mastering even further, because I kind of felt like I mastered the meals in a way, and this sounds, yeah, you know, but yeah, I made 3 courses on it, and I went all the way to, you know, the technicality of it, the swinging directions, etc., and the swings, the different types of swings. Fully went through that, but you know, the flipping makes it completely, adds a whole nother spectrum to it. So that's really cool. I'm really excited about that. It's not going to be for everybody. Maybe it's only going to be for a few. But the interesting thing about this is that it's actually done like this in Iran. And I've seen these videos, and I want to visit so badly. But it's spectacular the way that they can juggle, almost like they throw it and just flip it 4 times, 5 times with big weights. That's really, really, really impressive. And it's also just fun to see, you know, traditional cultures play around with things, not be so strict around it, like it should be this way, it should be done this way. But they have a really cool creative part in their practice. So not when they practice with all of them together, then it's all structured and synchronized, which also has a big, you know, big effect and a big positive effect by that point. But what they do there is a lot of creativity. That's basically what I see. They actually play around with it too. They don't just kneel down to like, this should be a workout and we should do this and this. It's also an art. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that all these tools and all these beautiful traditions, they're like an art, and you can play an instrument in different ways, just like you can play this art in different ways. And that's the beauty of it. And it just keeps expanding. It doesn't stop. That's the beautiful thing about this. It just keeps expanding. Alright guys, I made it back to the museum square, and now I brought smaller Persian meals with me. These are actually 2.25 kilograms each. And there's a little story about these, because when I got these originally, there was somebody who deceased, sadly, and he gave up his, his wife sold his clubs, and they were all different types of clubs, like small Indian clubs. There was a Persian Zurkhaneh, there were these little meals, and they all had, they were all very small, and I guess I would never have bought them myself, but I've ended up using them quite a bit. It's just with club swing, it's also always very important that you do find smaller clubs, because smaller clubs are just the way to actually learn how to do it. And if you're not doing that, you just have a more tough time. So you can never really go too light, depending on the category, of course, if you're having heavy clubs or light clubs. Now, I've been practicing a little bit, and it's been fun. I think I have the double flip down with two hands, which is quite a thing. But yeah, I've seen in Iran that they do this like swing up 6 or 7 times, and they just, and then they do right and left. It's really like actual juggling. With kettlebells and stuff, people call juggling, which is basically flipping it around. But when they do it with 2 or 3 at the same time, you actually start to, literally juggle heavy clubs, which is a thing. That there's just something about this though, because of the shape of the meal. I don't know, they're just not ideal for flipping, because this thing, when you miss it, it just catches your hand. It's right there, and it hurts quite a bit. So learning this is fun, but it's also it's not the best tool to learn how to flip stuff. But I gotta practice this, because at one time I'll be in Iran, and I gotta show my skills. So I need to get this down, but it's definitely a slightly painful learning experience. But it's getting there. And I know from experience with kettlebells and maces and clubs that once you get the skill down, once you hone it, you never lose it. So that's going to be the aim for today. So yeah, that was beautiful. I like this practice. I will do it more often. Hopefully I'll hone my skills a little bit, try to go left and right in different styles. I'll try to look for more inspiration on what these people do, because some of them are just incredible. It's so cool that there's actually a practice out there which does traditional swinging, and at the same time also has this elaborate skill-based practice where they actually perform and where they do magical, crazy, creative stuff. And I love that, because that's what I do too. So more practice to come. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Ever suffered from shoulder pain or imbalances? Swinging heavy clubs is an ancient art that will bring your shoulders health and strength and an iron grip. Heavy Clubs 101 will give you the confidence to start your journey with heavy clubs. The aim is to bring foundation and understanding to the practice that will be your first step towards mastery. The course will break down the most essential presses, pulls, and swings with easy to follow tutorials. These exercises will challenge your arms and shoulders in a way that will make them bulletproof. Heavy Clubs 101 is an absolute must if you own a pair of Persian Meels, club bells, mudgars, or kalakatai. Set your foundation straight and join Heavy Clubs 101 on DutchFlowAcademy.com. Boom! Thank you for your attention. It's greatly appreciated. If you like the content, please consider to share, like, and subscribe to my channel. If you want to see similar videos, you can see them over here. If you're interested in learning more from me as a coach, I've got online courses on DutchFlowAcademy.com. Keep flowing, Ram Ram.